Now, every time I was threatened, I went to the police, I called 911, I went inside to the precinct in the 90th. And they took the police report and they said the detective will call you. They never bothered calling me because the liaison from the 90th is a pedophile himself and he's on the list. His name is Mr. Friedman. So everything disappears there. 3 days later, I go up to the precinct and I said, why was I not called? He says, well, as long as you don't point on anybody that threatened you, because I don't even know who did it. They rented some mafia, an Israeli guy who was saying it because he spoke Hebrew, but I don't know who he is. As long as you can't point the finger, it goes into the wastebasket down here. It doesn't even get upstairs. The second time I was threatened on the Williamsburg Bridge, and I begged him, I went over to the 7th precinct, which is on Manhattan side, and I begged him, please make a report. He says, where did it happen? I said, on this side of the Brooklyn, on the Brooklyn side. He says, well, we can't do it. You got to go to Brooklyn. I started to cry to him. I've been there. They don't do anything. They doesn't even make the papers. It doesn't even make the file. It doesn't make anything. Do me a favor. Say that it happened on this side and make a file for me. The officer was so helpful. He made a file. Ha ha, I have a file. A week later, they called me up from the 90th precinct that the file is in the 90th precinct if I want to come see a detective. I said, sure. I go and see a detective. He says to me, you know what? There's really nothing we can do as long as you don't know who did it. It's on file. And then I came back a few days later and I wanted to complain again because I'm getting numerous threats over the phone day and night. They say, you got to speak to the guy who takes care of community affairs. Okay, come tomorrow, 9 o'clock. They're here from 9 to 5. I come 9 o'clock, they start laughing at me because they have asked me my name and I said Rosenberg. So first they let me sit 6 hours and then they tell me that Sunday they're not here, I should come back Monday. I come back Monday, 9 o'clock, they start laughing again. They're not here, they only come in from 3 to 10 p.m. I said, fine, I'll come back. I come back at 3 o'clock, I sit there till 5. There's nobody there to talk to me. Finally, I go home already. I get a telephone call. The detective came in. He starts telling me the same story again. As long as you don't know who is doing it, there's nothing we can do. And that's the protection that we have. If anybody messes with these pedophile people, and this is a community which all the pedophiles are there for one specific reason. It's called money. They extort money. The rabbis and what they call Mishmeres Hatznius, they are partners in this. They threaten every boy and every girl not to go to the government, saying that it's not permissible because of the Torah, which is a lie. All the Rabbanim came out, a lot of them in Israel and in America, that once you're either molested or you're raped in the street or anything, you have to go report because that is very important. And they, because they have money interests, they do it the other way around that you're not supposed to. And if you don't listen to them, they have the ways to mess you up. Either by big papers, throwing you out from the community, don't letting you daven. And if you have small children in school, which I don't have anymore, they make sure that the children get kicked out if you don't take back your report that you gave in. Thank you very much. We need a lot of help, and if we're not going to get it, we are now just as bad as in Stalin's time in Russia when he made the Jewish nation for a joke. He humiliated them and he killed them. He did everything that he wanted to do with them for his own interest. It's unfortunately, it's in the United States, year 2008. The real problem is that the rabbis who are running the show, they get money for this. They use our children like meat in the butcher store that you buy for $1, for money. And that's very bad. But due to the fact that it's been going on for years, they have all the connections and the pulls. You can't go into 66th precinct, which is in Borough Park, or in the 90th precinct and get any place, because the liaisons will take care that nothing should happen for the pedophiles. They would take pedophiles which are arrested and destroy the evidence with the files altogether. They don't even appear anymore. And that's very bad news. So the next move is to go to the DA. I tried to get an appointment to Mr. Charles Hines. He gave me a secretary, and her name is Hannah White. She says, Rabbi, I'll do anything possible for you. She gave me her number, and all the pedophiles should have the number where to call. And I asked her, Hannah White, tell me, how are you going to handle so many calls? So she says, don't worry, I also have a secretary. And these people started calling her. And not only did she never call back anybody, she complained to the rabbis that Mr. Rosenberg is giving out her number to everybody and exposing her. And that's where we get with Charles Hines. No place. So the rabbis control the police. They control Charles Hines. I got myself an appointment to the FBI to tell them what's happening because I'm being threatened. There were two people there. I don't know if they're agents or what their status is. They didn't want to reveal their name. Two young women. And they listened to me. And then they said, listen, Rabbi, if they want you to close that hotline, you close it down. We're not here to fight for you. We're not here to take care of anybody private. So I said, when does the FBI come in? They said, only if it's a mob controlled. Well, let me tell you something. There hasn't been a mob-controlled piece like this mob-controlled piece. They call themselves Mishmeres Hatznius. Anybody that has a problem, they go over, listen, you give us 10,000, 5,000, according to how much they think that it's worth. And they're extorting millions of dollars from the people in the community. Now, if the people who need help would get that money, would be fine, but they don't. There was a story of a girl who went to work for $150 a week to make a living, to get herself married. And the boss raped her, or whatever he did out of love. He had an affair with her. And she was very hurt. She calls Mishmeres Hatznius. Mishmeres Hatznius tells her, we'll be up there tomorrow. They pulled out a big lump of money. And the girl still didn't get any help because that goes to their pocket and not to the girl's pocket. And that's the community we live in, year 2008 in the United States of America. There's nobody to talk to. And I wouldn't even say this speech if I hadn't had a bullet shot, because now it's irrelevant whether I say the speech or not. Because of the fact that the rabbi signed a decree, this is my title, Mr. Snake, chop his head off from all four corners of the world. Thank you very much.